marking our shoulder line. From that shoulder line, I shall be marking my bust point, which is 11 inches, waist point 16 inches, and the full length of this jacket. For the full length of the jacket, if you want it at your hip level, then if you use your hip point. But if you want it a little bit above your hip, then from your waistline, you could just step down by 5 inches, 6 inches, or 7 inches. If you also want it below your hip, then you could just increase that to any length you desire. At the shoulder line, I shall be marking 3 inches as my neck width and 1.5 inches as my neck depth. I'll divide my shoulder length by 2 and mark it at the shoulder line. That was 7.5 inches. From that 7.5 inches point, I'll step down by 1 inch to get my shoulder slope. After getting that point, I'll just connect the point to the neckline. My shoulder slope is set. What I have at my shoulder line is the same thing I'll be marking from that shoulder slope. It was 7.5 inches, but I'm going to be adding half an inch to make it 8 inches since I didn't want my armhole to be so tight. I'll connect a straight line through that point. This is now my chest line. We have the first line to be the chest line, the bust line, the waistline, and the hip line. Let's join our armhole line this way. I'll divide my bust circumference by 4, mark that at the chest line, plus half an inch for ease. I'm not going to be adding any allowances. At the midpoint of the armhole, I'll make a point there. From that point, I'll make a curve to join with that previous point at my chest line, and that is our armhole curve. I'll also be marking my nipple to nipple divided by 4. That was 3.5 inches. I marked it at the chest line and at the hip line, and I'm making a straight line through those points. On my waistline, I shall be marking half an inch on each of the two sides, and I'll connect it this way, that way, this other way, and that other way. That is our that. Next is to divide our waist circumference by 4, mark it at our waistline, plus that half an inch for the ease, and that 1 inch that. I'll move to my hip line divided by 4. I'll mark that, but for my hip line, because I want to have a little bit of loose and wideness at my hip area, I'm not going to be making it half an inch. I shall make it 1 inch at my hip line, and I'll just go ahead and connect all those points. At the center back at my waistline, I'll be coming in by half an inch this way. I'll connect it to the neckline into the hem of the dress this way. This is to get rid of any bulginess at the back and also give flare and shape to the back area. At the side back this way, I'll be stepping up by 2 inches. And with my armhole curve, I'll just be making a curve to join with the dart. I want to make the back 2 pieces. At the shoulder line this way, I'll be marking the midpoint and I'll connect it to the dart this way. You can decide to leave it that way, or you could just do what I'm doing if you want to have a 2 pieces back. But our back is ready. Let's go ahead and cut everything out, and let's move to drafting the most interesting part everyone is waiting for. If you are not a subscriber, you can do that now. Also take this opportunity to like the video. I put in all my best to simplify the front part of these tutorials, and I know you're going to be enjoying it. From the top of our pattern paper, I shall be marking 6 inches downwards this way, and I'll make a straight line through. And on this other side, I shall also be marking 5 inches inward, and I'll make another straight line that way. From the top line, which is also our shoulder line, I shall be marking my bust point, waist point, and my dress length. Let's square everything out. At the shoulder line, I shall mark my 3 inches neck width and also 3 inches neck depth. I'll make a curve that way. Next is to divide our shoulder line by 2. Mine after the division was 7.5 inches. I marked that, and from that point, I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. I shall be making a straight line from the neckline to that point. I shall be transferring what I had at my shoulder line from that shoulder slope downwards. That was 7.5 inches, but I'm going to be adding half an inch to make it 8 inches since I didn't want my armhole to be so tight. From that point, I'm going to be making an horizontal line. This line is my chest line. I shall be joining those 2 points to get my armhole line. The chest line, I'm going to be dividing my bust circumference by 4. That was 9 inches. I marked that plus half an inch for ease. Since this is a blazer, you don't want it to be so tight on you. So it's good you add that half an inch for ease. I'm not also going to be adding any allowances. We shall be doing so when we are doing the cutting on the fabric piece. Let's find the midpoint of the armhole, come in by half an inch, and with the help of our armhole curve, we shall be connecting those 3 points to get our armhole curve. Let's also go ahead and mark our bust part, or our nipple to nipple divided by 2 at the chest line. Also move to the hip line and mark it there, and then connect our line. Before we proceed, to avoid any confusion, let's go ahead and label our points. Have the first line to be the chest line, the bust line, the waist line, and the hip line to be the last line. Bust line, we shall come down by 1 inch, and side by side at the waistline, I'll be marking half an inch on both sides, and I'll connect it this way, that way, also this way, and that way. I shall divide my waist circumference by 4, mark that at the waistline, plus that half an inch for ease. I have to also measure my dart intake and add it. At my jacket length, which is also my hip line, I shall be inputting my hip circumference divided by 4. Plus, this time round, I want the down part to be a bit loose and a bit wider, so I wouldn't be adding half an inch. I'm going to be marking 1 inch instead. Let me just go ahead and join all the points. At this moment, let's go ahead and determine our break point. The break point is where we want our lapel to stop. For this jacket, I want my lapel to stop at the waistline. At my waistline, I'll be stepping out by 1 inch. Connect that line to the hem of the jacket. I'll also connect it this way and that way. Take note, this particular 1 inch step out, you don't need to draw it all the way to your neckline. No, it's not necessary. It's going to make the whole work very complicated and you're going to have a lot of lines at the end of the day. So just draw it below there. You don't need to take it upwards that way. At the tip of that 1 inch, you're going to be drawing a diagonal line to meet at the end of your pattern paper. Please don't end it at the neckline. Let it go to the end of your pattern paper. Take note, this is for a reason. You shall be understanding as we proceed. The line must go straight and touch the end of your pattern paper. This is going to make the whole work very easy and very simple for you. Also at the neckline, I shall be stepping out by 2 inches and I'll be connecting a line to meet with the edge of that 1 inch. Remember, this is also optional. You can come out by 3 inch, 2.5, depending on how wide you want your lapel to be. But I think 2 inches was okay for me. This is one of the pieces for the back. I'm going to be measuring the neckline of the back. I had 4 inches and I will be marking it on that diagonal line this way. This was the reason why you needed to draw that diagonal line to touch the end of your pattern paper. From that point, I'll be stepping out by ½ an inch and I'll make a straight line to join with the neckline this way. Therefore, this first line will no longer be needed. Now, I shall also be slanting my tape rule this way, also making sure that it's touching this point. This point of the pattern paper. It should be diagonal this way. It shouldn't be straight. I'll mark 3 inches and I'm going to be joining it. This is how wide I want my lapel to be. So decrease or increase this. On this end, I'll be stepping out by 1 inch. You can make yourself an inch or more. And this also depends on how wide you want the opening to be. So I think 1 inch was okay for me. Let's go ahead and slant it to join this other side this way. And with the help of my armhole curve, I'll just connect those 2 points also. And I think everything is set and done now. Can you see how simple it looks? It doesn't have a lot of unwanted lines that you have to mark out. From this tip of the hem, I'll step up by 2 inches to connect it to join with where my dart ended. So this is to make sure that it's not pointed and straight. Let me turn it for you to look at the full overview. Then you look at how I'm going to be cutting it. This is also very cardinal. You need to watch how I'm cutting it so I don't cut some portions that are needed out. So watch carefully. This is the best, the simplest, and the easiest method in drafting a blazer. There is no any other one. I've come under a lot of experiences by practice. I've done a lot of research. And in fact, this is the best. And you know, I'm here to always dish out the best dish for you guys. When it comes to freehand cutting, I think my next video will be on freehand cutting. The freehand cutting, oh my God, you can't imagine how simple it is. Like in less than 5 minutes, you'll be done with everything. I just realized I wanted to make this a 2 pieces. So I find the midpoint of the shoulder line and I connected it to the dart. This is how simple it is, okay? Always know that this is optional. If you want to make it a 2 pieces, then do what I just did. But if you don't want to have any joining, you don't want to make it 2 pieces, then you can leave it like that. For those of my subscribers who don't like a lot of pattern drafting, you just love the freehand way of working around with garments, don't worry. I will upload a video soon for you. You don't just need pattern drafting to make a blazer. It will come out very nice in less than 5 minutes. Look guys, I've come under a lot of experience, a lot of practice, a lot of research to come out with this formula myself. You can't just wait for this video, but I want to also know how many of you are ready, because I don't know the number of you who like the freehand cutting. So let me just know in the comment section if you love the freehand method so that I could just drop a video on that one. I know because I'm part of you guys that we the pattern lovers, after watching this video, we are going to love that free method of drafting the blazer rather than even this part. It doesn't consume time, it's simple, it's easy, fast and straightforward. You don't need to waste a lot of time on it. What I so much love about this method is that it doesn't waste fabric.